Beloved chosen one, heaven has fallen silent. The earth seems to hold its breath, and time itself bends as the eyes of the Almighty fix upon you. You may not realize it yet, but tonight is not just another night, it is the night when heaven pauses to write the greatest chapter of your life. The angels are gathering ink that glows with purpose, and the pages of your destiny lie open before the throne. Nothing about this moment is ordinary. You are not scrolling by chance. You are being summoned. You have been through storms, through nights when prayers felt unanswered and promises seemed delayed. Yet even in your exhaustion, God was scripting. Every tear you shed was not wasted. It became the ink of your testimony. You were not forgotten. You were being written. Tonight, the author steps into the room of your life to begin again, not to edit your failures, but to redeem them into a masterpiece that will echo through eternity. There are moments in time when heaven chooses to intervene, and this is one of them. You may have felt invisible, but heaven has been rehearsing this moment since before you were born. Every delay has aligned you for divine timing. The silence was not punishment, it was preparation. You had to be hidden before you could be revealed. You had to be broken before you could carry the oil of healing. And now, heaven whispers it's time. Listen carefully, for this night is sacred. You are standing at the threshold between what was and what will be. The hand of God hovers above the blank page of your next season. He is not consulting your past. He is declaring your future. He is not measuring your worth by mistakes, but by the magnitude of your calling. You are His chosen vessel, shaped by trial and refined by fire, ready to be filled again. The angels are taking their places. The room around you may be quiet, but in the spirit, there is movement, divine activity orchestrating breakthrough. Old doors are closing without noise, and new ones are forming in places where there were once only walls. Do not doubt this moment. The pain that once defined you will now become the prophecy that propels you. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. You, chosen one, are being lifted even now. The weight that held you down cannot follow you into this next chapter. You are about to soar. And when you do, those who once overlooked you will not understand how you rose so suddenly. It is because heaven wrote it this way. It was never man's approval that was going to launch you, it was God's decree. But there is something heaven requires tonight. You must respond. You must open your heart, not your hands. You must be willing to say, "Yes, Lord, write my story." Because the pen of destiny does not move without surrender. You cannot keep clinging to what was and expect Him to reveal what's next. Let go of the old version of you, the one shaped by fear, by disappointment, by the voice that said you were not enough. That version dies tonight. Feel the stillness, the sacred hush in your spirit. This is what divine alignment feels like. Heaven does not shout, it whispers, and the wise listen. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are precisely where you need to be for the greatest rewrite of your life to begin. So pause now. Take a breath. Let heaven's silence fill you with awe. This is the moment creation leans in to witness the moment the chosen one steps into purpose. The Lord says, "I have not abandoned you. I was waiting for you to be ready, and you are ready now." Before you scroll away, seal this moment. Tap like, share this message with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe if you feel the pull of heaven stirring in your chest. Type below. As an act of faith, 737. The number of divine completion and new beginnings. It's not just a comment. It's a declaration that you are stepping into what God has written. Tonight, heaven writes again, and this time the ink will not fade. Chosen one. As heaven's pen moves, the ink of your life begins to glow. You may not see it, but the story unfolding in the unseen realm is already being declared. Every detail, every delay, every detour, all of it has been marked by divine ink. The author of creation wastes nothing. What seemed random was choreography. What looked like rejection was redirection. What felt like the end was, in truth, only the pause between chapters. You have lived through seasons where it seemed like nothing was happening. You prayed, yet silence answered. You sowed faithfully, yet harvest refused to show. But tonight, the Spirit whispers nothing you endured was lost. Heaven has been collecting your fragments, your disappointments, and your tears. All of them have become the very ink with which God now writes your next line. When the hand of God writes, it does not erase your past, it redeems it. Your story becomes more powerful because of where you have been. The wounds that once made you hide now become windows for others to see His light through you. You were not overlooked. You were being marked. You are a living manuscript of mercy, a testament that grace does not discard broken pages, it binds them together into something beautiful. You may still carry the memory of betrayal, of prayers unanswered, of people who promised to stay but left. Those things are not wasted. They have become divine ink that heaven uses to inscribe resilience and strength into your soul. Every scar is now part of your signature. You are no longer a victim of what happened. You are the vessel chosen to show what restoration looks like. There is a sacred beauty in being rewritten by God. It means that your story will no longer be defined by what others did to you, but by what God is doing through you. You have to understand this truth: nothing in your life has been ordinary. Even your pain had purpose. Even your silence was prophetic. The waiting itself was a part of the design, because the longer the ink rests, the deeper it sinks and the stronger the mark becomes. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 56, verse 8. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. Do you see it now? Chosen one. Your tears were never wasted. They were recorded. Heaven did not forget the nights when your voice trembled in prayer, when you whispered, "Lord, do you see me?" The answer was always yes. God saw you not as broken, but as being shaped into someone who would one day carry healing for others. You were being prepared to speak from experience, not theory, from testimony, not assumption. There is divine ink flowing through your veins tonight. It is the ink of endurance, of faith that refused to die, of love that would not turn cold. Every line written now carries eternal weight. You are not who you were last year, last month, or even yesterday. The handwriting of heaven has shifted. The narrative of your life is changing tone. It is no longer written in despair. It is now written in destiny. When God writes, He does not use ordinary words. He inscribes promises that cannot be erased. He engraves identity, purpose, and legacy into the soul of His chosen ones. You are part of that script. The ink of divine favor now marks you in the unseen. Even when you walk through ordinary places, heaven recognizes the mark upon you. So stand still for a moment. Feel the ink settle into your spirit. Let every drop of sorrow be redeemed into strength. The story of your life is not ending. It is unfolding. And this second chapter, marked by divine ink, will reveal what heaven has always known about you, that you were never forgotten, only being written for the right time. The pen is still moving, heaven is still writing, and you, chosen one, are the living page on which God's glory will be seen. Chosen one, you have walked through years that felt like an endless waiting room. The silence of heaven can feel heavy when your heart is desperate for movement. You prayed, fasted, obeyed, and still, nothing seemed to shift. But tonight, heaven wants you to see what has been happening behind the veil. The waiting was never wasted. The delay was never denial. God was not ignoring you. He was preparing the stage for your unveiling. There is a spiritual weight to waiting. It crushes pride, refines motives, and strengthens faith until only truth remains. You were not being punished. You were being positioned. Every unanswered prayer was an altar built in secret. Every not yet from God was an invitation to deeper trust. You have carried the tension between promise and fulfillment like a sword within your chest. Yet that very tension has birthed the strength you now carry. Heaven calls this the night of release. That means the chains you couldn't break are breaking now, not because of your strength, but because your obedience reached maturity. The same God who allowed the waiting is now commanding movement. You were hidden for a season because He was writing your foundation in private. He could not reveal you before the structure of your soul was strong enough to hold the weight of your calling. Chosen one, do you feel the shift? It's subtle at first, a stirring in your spirit, a quiet knowing that something is changing. That is heaven's announcement. The waiting is over. The seed that has been buried is finally pushing through the soil. What once seemed forgotten is now being remembered in divine timing. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 8. The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. That verse is not theory, it is your current reality. The Lord has already gone ahead of you. He has arranged every meeting, every opportunity, every open door. You will walk into moments that seem accidental, but are actually prophetic alignments. The God who walked with you in silence now walks before you in manifestation. The same voice that said, "Wait now," says, "Go." But before you move, understand this waiting teaches you what rushing never can. It builds spiritual muscle. It gives you sight beyond emotion. You begin to see the fingerprints of God in places others overlook. The waiting makes you dangerous because now your faith is not built on feelings, but on revelation. You no longer need to see to believe. You believe because you know. There were nights when you almost gave up, when you thought your faith was breaking. Yet even then, heaven was watching closely. You may not have realized it, but every moment of endurance became worship. Every time you stayed faithful when nothing made sense, the heavens recorded your obedience as worship more valuable than gold. Now that obedience is being remembered, the heavens have declared that your time of silence has expired. The door that has been locked for years is about to swing open, not because of human permission, but because heaven has authorized it. You are stepping into what was promised, not because you chased it, but because you endured for it. So tonight, take a deep breath. The burden of waiting is lifting. The exhaustion of delay is being replaced by the wind of acceleration. The Lord is saying, "You have waited long enough. Now, walk forward." Your spirit will recognize the moment when divine timing meets divine courage, and that moment is now. Before this section closes, I want you to mark your agreement with heaven. Type in the comments, "I am ready." These 3 words may look simple, but they are a prophetic declaration. When you write them, you are not just typing, you are testifying. You are declaring that your spirit agrees with heaven's timing. You are saying, "No more delay. I will step into what you have prepared." Chosen one, the waiting has served its purpose. You have been refined, not reduced. Tonight, the weight of waiting transforms into the wings of destiny. Step forward, your chapter of movement begins now. Chosen one. Every great story reaches a point where the pressure becomes unbearable. That is the breaking point, the moment between what was and what will be. It is the sacred tension of heaven pressing against the walls of your circumstance, demanding that something new be born. You know this moment well. You have felt the weight of it in your chest, the heaviness that made you wonder if God still remembered your name. But hear this. The breaking point is not your end. It is the sound of heaven opening. Every crushing season has been a divine classroom. God does not waste pain. He refines power through it. You were never meant to collapse under the weight. You were meant to break open, to release what has been locked inside you all along. The pressure was never punishment. It was preparation for expansion. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Oil flows only when olives are crushed, and resurrection requires a tomb. You, chosen one, have been in that place, but tonight, heaven whispers that the breaking is over and the breakthrough has begun. There is something sacred about pain that does not destroy you. It becomes proof of divine endurance. The very thing that tried to kill you has only revealed that you cannot be defeated because you are not sustained by yourself. You are sustained by the hand of the Almighty. When you thought you had no strength left, grace stood up inside you. When your voice trembled in prayer, heaven heard it as a roar. Every battle that seemed to break you was actually loosening what was never meant to stay attached. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 30, verse 17. But I will restore you to health and heal your wounds, declares the Lord, because you are called an outcast. Zion, for whom no one cares. Those words are not ancient echoes. They are the voice of God to you in this exact moment. You have been the one others overlooked, the one labeled by your past, the one who felt unseen. Yet God calls you by a different name. Restored. The very places where you were wounded will now become wells of healing for others. Your scars will speak louder than your words. Where there was rejection, favor will rise. Where there was loss, multiplication will manifest. The breaking point reveals what your faith is made of. It is where pretense ends and purity begins, when everything else is stripped away. What remains is the raw essence of trust that God is still good, even when you don't understand Him. This is the depth from which true power flows. Heaven only fills what is emptied. And you, chosen one, have been emptied enough for glory to overflow. You are not the same person you were before the storm. The breaking changed your posture. You have learned to listen in silence, to see with faith, to walk without applause. You have learned that miracles are not always loud. Sometimes they happen quietly inside a healed heart. You have learned that victory is not the absence of battle, but the presence of divine peace in the midst of it. Now, something inside you is stirring. You can feel it, a quiet strength, a fresh fire, a holy defiance that refuses to bow to fear anymore. The crushing was supposed to end you, but it only awakened the warrior within you. You survived what others thought would destroy you because heaven has not finished your story. The breaking was necessary to reveal what had been hidden, the unstoppable, unshakable spirit of one who is truly chosen. So lift your head. The light you see on the horizon is not imagination, it is manifestation. The walls that confined you are trembling because the season of confinement has expired. You are walking out of what once held you captive, not as a victim, but as a vessel of glory. Every wound becomes a window, every scar a story, every tear a seed for the harvest now breaking forth. Chosen one. The breaking point is behind you. The breakthrough is here. The heavens have shifted, and your life will testify that nothing broken in God's hands stays broken. From the fragments, He builds altars. From the ashes, He shapes crowns. From your pain, He writes power. The night has been long, but the dawn has arrived. Chosen one. The stage of destiny is glowing. Heaven's spotlight has begun to shift toward you, not because you demanded attention, but because obedience has positioned you for visibility. The season of hiding served its purpose. Now the Lord is calling your name in the presence of those who once dismissed you. This is not a moment of pride, it is a moment of divine assignment. The light is not shining on you to glorify you. It is shining through you to glorify Him. You have spent years walking quietly, doing what few noticed, sowing in silence while others celebrated in the open. But heaven saw. The same God who counted every tear and heard every whispered prayer has now decided that your time in the shadows has ended. The divine pen pauses midair, and a voice speaks over you. Step forward, chosen one. It is your time. You may feel unready, but that is the sign that you are. Those who depend on their own strength are not ready for holy assignment. Those who tremble in awe of the call are the ones God can trust. Your humility is the key that opens this new chapter. The Lord does not call the confident, He calls the surrendered. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not delay. That vision you carried, the one you almost gave up on, is the very thing heaven now brings to life. The waiting season has ripened the promise. The delay was only a disguise for development. And now, what once looked impossible stands ready to unfold right before your eyes. You will begin to see confirmation after confirmation. Divine coincidences that prove heaven has orchestrated every detail. This is the call to step forward, not to rush, not to prove, but to move in quiet authority. The world around you may still remember your wilderness, but heaven remembers your worship. When God says it is time, no opinion can hold you back. You do not need to convince anyone of what God has already confirmed. Simply rise and walk into the light that has been reserved for you. There is a moment in every chosen one's life when hesitation must bow to purpose. You have reached that threshold. The Lord has set the stage, not so you can perform, but so you can reveal what endurance looks like. You are the living evidence that waiting on God is never wasted. Your story will inspire others who are still in their silent seasons to keep believing that their turn will come too. Now, pause for a breath. Feel that quiet stirring inside your chest. That is heaven's invitation. The Spirit whispers, don't shrink back. You have been faithful in obscurity. Now carry that same faithfulness into visibility. Let your light shine, not as a flare of ego, but as a beacon of hope. Every act of obedience becomes a spark that guides someone else through their darkness. If this word resonates deep within you, I invite you to help carry it further. Share it with someone who needs to remember that their delay is not their denial. Like this message as a sign of agreement, not for recognition, but as an act of gratitude to the author who still writes through human hearts. And if you have not yet joined this growing family of faith, subscribe so that you never miss the moments heaven releases next. This space is more than a page. It's a gathering of chosen ones awakening together. You are part of something sacred, something much larger than a single story. Each message you receive here is another paragraph in the testimony God is building across the world, a living book of redeemed lives. So let your yes echo. Let your faith be visible. Heaven is turning the page towards, and your chapter begins with one step of obedience and one whisper of surrender. I'm ready, Lord. The light rises higher, the curtain lifts, and you, chosen one, step into your divine scene not alone, but surrounded by heaven's applause. Chosen one, something unseen is shifting around you. Heaven is in motion, not in chaos, but in perfect orchestration. While you've been wondering if God still hears, angels have been aligning every detail. Divine timing is precise, never late, never early. You are standing in the synchronization of heaven and earth, where promises begin to take shape. Every answered prayer, every divine encounter, every moment of divine favor, none of these are random. They are signals that heaven has been arranging a masterpiece. You might not understand the movement yet, but soon it will make sense. What looked like confusion was coordination. What seemed like delay was divine design. Heaven has been setting the stage for your next step, and tonight, everything aligns. There are unseen forces working on your behalf. Even as you read these words, the heavens are adjusting the timing of people, places, and opportunities. Someone you haven't met yet is being prepared to open a door for you. A closed path is being cleared. A message is being sent in the spirit announcing, make way for the chosen one, according to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 9. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. That means, chosen one, that your planning is not wasted, but it is not the final authority either. You make the plans, but heaven establishes the direction. You may have thought certain opportunities slipped away, but they were only being rerouted. The Lord is ensuring that you arrive where grace has already prepared a place for you. The detours, the pauses, the sudden turns, all of them are part of divine direction. This alignment is happening quietly, without fanfare. Sometimes it looks like loss before it looks like order. People exit, doors close, familiar things shift, but do not panic. It's heaven's hand removing what no longer fits your next chapter. You cannot carry yesterday's weight into tomorrow's assignment. Every adjustment is a sign that you are being prepared for greater capacity. You may not see the full picture, but faith is not about sight. It's about trust. The Lord doesn't reveal every step because if He did, you would depend on your plan instead of His presence. So He gives you light for one step, then another. And somehow, by the time you reach the end of the path, you realize He had been guiding you perfectly all along. Chosen one. Take a moment to look back. Can you see how the puzzle pieces fit together? The heartbreaks that led you to healing, the detours that brought unexpected blessings, the moments of confusion that birthed wisdom. All of it is proof that heaven never lost control. What felt like collapse was actually calibration. You were not abandoned in chaos, you were being aligned for clarity. This is what divine alignment feels like: peace where fear used to live, favor where striving used to be, and rest where anxiety once ruled. The people meant to walk with you will appear effortlessly. The opportunities meant for you will no longer require force. When heaven aligns, everything flows. You won't need to chase, beg, or manipulate. You'll simply walk in rhythm with grace. So tonight, pause and breathe. You are not behind. You are right on time. The things that seem delayed are about to arrive suddenly. The connections that felt distant are about to be divinely delivered. The atmosphere around you is shifting, preparing for the manifestation of promises you nearly stopped believing for. Heaven has synchronized your season as you feel that alignment stirring within. Mark this moment with faith. Type the number 888 in the comments, a prophetic number representing new beginnings, divine order, and infinite alignment. You're not just typing a number, you're declaring that you trust heaven's timing. You're saying, Lord, I release control and choose to walk in step with you. Heaven's movements are not random, they are written. The script of your destiny has reached the part where everything starts to make sense. Trust it. Flow with it. The author is aligning every detail for your breakthrough. And tonight, the rhythm of heaven beats in harmony with your heart. Chosen one, there comes a moment in every divine story when fear tries to interrupt faith. It doesn't appear as a roar, but as a whisper, subtle, persuasive, disguised as logic. Fear tells you to stay where it's safe, to avoid disappointment, to believe only in what you can see. Yet tonight, the voice of God cuts through that whisper. The same voice that spoke light into darkness now speaks courage into your soul. You have battled unseen wars, doubts, what-ifs, memories of failure, and though others could not see the struggle, heaven did. You have faced seasons when your heart wanted to believe, but your mind argued back. Still, even in your trembling, you chose faith. You kept praying, still, you kept moving, you kept hoping. That chosen one is the courage that heaven celebrates, not the absence of fear, but the decision to keep walking despite it. Fear has always tried to silence chosen ones. It knows what will happen if you step forward, how your obedience will break chains, how your voice will heal others, how your faith will inspire multitudes. That is why the enemy fought your confidence so fiercely. He wanted to paralyze your purpose before it could awaken. But fear no longer holds the pen. The author of your story has taken it back, and his next line is written in fire: be strong and courageous. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 16, verse 13. Be on your guard. Stand firm in the faith. Be courageous. Be strong. Those words are more than encouragement. They are instruction. God does not ask you to feel strong. He commands you to stand strong. You may feel weak, uncertain, or unqualified, but divine strength is not a feeling. It is a presence. When God is with you, courage becomes your natural response. Fear becomes powerless not because it disappears, but because it no longer dictates your decisions. There were nights when fear tried to rewrite your story, when anxiety made you question your worth, when rejection whispered that you were unchosen. But those lies crumble under the truth of your identity. You are not here by coincidence. You are heaven's assignment, sent to carry light into places others are too afraid to enter. You are a breaker of cycles, a carrier of courage, a voice that will not be silenced. Courage does not mean rushing ahead blindly. It means obeying when obedience costs something. It means trusting when the outcome is unclear. It means believing that the one who called you is responsible for your success. Courage begins with surrender. The moment you stop trying to control everything, the Spirit begins to move freely through you. You have walked through valleys of fear before. Yet you stand here still evidence that faith outlasts terror. Remember the times you thought you wouldn't make it, the moments your voice shook as you prayed, yet you prayed anyway. That was courage. The world defines bravery as the absence of fear. Heaven defines it as the presence of trust. Chosen one, you are stepping into a season where fear will no longer dictate your narrative. You will speak words you once hesitated to say, step into rooms you once thought were too big, and walk with a confidence that confuses the enemy. This is not pride, it's divine authority rising in you. When God says, fear not, He is not describing a feeling, He is declaring a fact. Fear cannot live where faith has taken root. You were never meant to tiptoe through life, afraid of making mistakes. You were meant to walk boldly, knowing that even if you stumble, then grace will catch you. You were designed to roar in the face of opposition, to carry peace where panic once ruled. The same voice that silenced storms now speaks through you, commanding the winds of fear to be still. And so, tonight, stand tall. Fear may still whisper, but now you recognize its voice for what it is, a lie without power. Let courage speak louder. Let your spirit remember you were not created to survive in silence. You were chosen to move mountains with faith. The voice of God has interrupted your fear once and for all. The trembling stops here. The rising begins now. Chosen one. There are moments when the story seems to reverse, when everything you built begins to crumble, when what you thought was progress feels like loss. You look around and wonder, how could this be part of God's plan? But heaven smiles, for it knows something you don't. Divine reversals rarely look like blessings at first. Before glory comes the unmaking, before the crown comes the cross. What looks like ruin is often the very foundation of redemption. You have endured seasons where everything seemed to move backward. Opportunities slipped through your hands. People you trusted walked away. Promises appeared to fade into silence. But all along, heaven was crafting something far greater than restoration. It was preparing reversal. Reversal is not simply returning to what was lost. It is when God transforms what was meant to bury you into what will elevate you. Do you remember the weight of disappointment that almost broke you? The betrayal that cut too deep to explain? The failure that made you question your calling? Those moments are not wasted. In the divine ledger of heaven, they are credits waiting for multiplication. God is not returning you to where you were before the pain. He is lifting you to where you never could have reached without it. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 13. Do not be afraid and stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today you will never see again. Those words are a decree of reversal, the declaration that the enemies which pursued you will vanish before your eyes. Everything that chased you in the last season, fear, shame, regret, lack, will be swallowed up in the sea of divine justice. God is not just rescuing you, He is rewriting the power dynamic. What once oppressed you will now serve your testimony. You see, chosen one, reversal is heaven's way of restoring divine order. It is when the last becomes first, when the rejected becomes the cornerstone, when what was meant for evil becomes a stage for glory. You are living through that transition right now. What seemed to break you has positioned you for visibility. What looked like loss has made room for legacy. Reversal always begins in silence. Before the Red Sea split, the Israelites stood still. Before the resurrection, there was a tomb sealed by despair. Before promotion, there is often isolation. God hides His greatest works behind ordinary days, so that when He moves, no one can mistake His hand. And you, chosen one, are about to witness that hand move in unmistakable power. This is not revenge, it is redemption. Heaven does not operate in bitterness. It restores without resentment. God will not merely balance the scales, He will overflow them. The same places where you were mocked will become platforms of testimony. The same mouths that spoke against you will witness your rise and call it divine. The reversal is not for pride. It's for proof that God alone authors the turnaround. There is divine poetry in what is unfolding. Every setback becomes a stanza in the song of your deliverance. Every delay adds rhythm to the melody of grace. The reversal of heaven is not chaotic, it's symphonic. Each note of pain, each pause of silence, each crescendo of hope, all orchestrated to reveal that nothing was wasted. Chosen one, let peace settle into your heart. You don't need to fight to make things right. The author of justice is already moving. The same God who parted seas and raised the dead is now rewriting your circumstance. The battle is no longer yours, it belongs entirely to Him. So stand still, not in fear but in faith. The tide is turning. The ground beneath your feet is shifting in your favor. You are about to see the evidence of divine reversal, not in theory, but in reality. The chapter that once began in sorrow will close in joy. The pain that once humbled you will become the platform that honors you. And when you look back, you will say, "Surely the Lord has reversed my story. Chosen one, heaven is engraving your name in fire. The unseen realms have begun to recognize your sound, your obedience, your endurance. You are not who you were when this story began. Every test, every tear, every trial has refined your spirit until it burns with unmistakable clarity. You have been forged, not forgotten. Heaven's flame has touched your name and now it glows with purpose. This fire is not to destroy you, but to define you. Fire reveals what cannot be burned. It consumes the unnecessary and strengthens the eternal. The pain you walked through did not erase your identity, it revealed it. You thought the flames would end you, but instead, they unveiled the gold within you. You are not ashes, you are evidence. There is something holy about the fire that marks the chosen. It separates without isolating, purifies without erasing, and empowers without pride. When God places His fire upon a soul, that person becomes unrecognizable to darkness. The enemy can't touch what heaven has branded. You are now walking proof that grace leaves a glow, not a scar. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden." Those words are not poetic sentiment, they are identity. You are light. You cannot be hidden any longer. God did not spend years refining you only to keep you invisible. The world around you needs what burns within you. When heaven calls you light, it is declaring that your very existence disrupts darkness. Think about it, light doesn't argue with darkness. It simply shines, and the darkness retreats. That is what your presence now does in every room you enter. You no longer need to explain or defend who you are. Just being who God made you to be terrifies the shadows that once tried to consume you. Every time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, peace over panic, truth over fear, the flame within you grows brighter. This marking is irreversible. You cannot return to who you were before the fire because that version of you no longer exists. The wilderness refined you. The heartbreak trained you. The waiting built you. And now, heaven calls you unstoppable. The trials that once made you tremble are now the proof of your authority. You carry light because you have walked through darkness and survived. Do not be afraid of being seen. The world will try to misunderstand you, it always does when heaven sets someone ablaze. Some will be drawn to your light, others will retreat from it. But remember, light never apologizes for shining. It simply illuminates, exposing what is hidden and revealing the path forward. Your call is not to dim down for comfort, but to shine with conviction. Chosen one, heaven is proud of you. What you carry now is not ordinary, it is sacred fire. It will heal the broken, awaken the sleeping, and ignite courage in those who have forgotten their worth. You are no longer just a believer. You are a beacon. The same flame that once refined you will now guide others home. So walk boldly. Let the fire within you speak louder than fear, louder than judgment, louder than doubt. You are heaven's flame in human form, a living reminder that light always wins. Before you move on, I want you to mark this moment in the comments as a prophetic act. Type "shine forth." These two words may seem small, but they carry weight. When you write them, you are agreeing with heaven's decree over your life. You are declaring, I will not hide. I will burn with purpose. I will shine with divine fire. The angels record such declarations. Each one becomes an echo in eternity, a signal that another light has chosen to rise. And when many rise together, darkness loses its voice completely. So, chosen one, burn brightly, stand boldly and remember your name is written in fire, and no storm can extinguish what heaven has lit. Chosen one, this is the place where heaven begins to trade what was lost for what has been promised, the divine exchange that rewrites despair into destiny. You've been walking through fire, carrying burdens heavier than words could tell. Yet every ember of pain has become an offering, and God wastes none of it. The time has come when the smoke clears and from the ashes something magnificent rises. What once looked like ruin becomes the soil where miracles bloom. There are seasons when life feels like a battlefield after the storm, pieces scattered, colors faded, dreams buried under dust. But in that quiet aftermath, God bends down and begins to gather the fragments. One by one, He restores what was broken, breathing life into dry bones and calling beauty out of ashes. You have reached that turning point, chosen one. The season of exchange is here, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Joel, chapter 2. Verse 25, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. Those words are not poetic nostalgia, they are divine economy. Heaven keeps perfect accounts. Every lost year, every silent season, every forgotten prayer, all will return in multiplied measure. The locusts devoured much, but they did not devour your promise. What you thought was gone is merely being returned in another form, deeper, stronger, eternal. Think of a seed buried in darkness. It looks dead to the naked eye, yet something miraculous happens underground. The seed splits, cracks open, and what seems like destruction is actually transformation. That's been you. You've been breaking open, not falling apart. Heaven was working underground, out of sight, preparing roots deep enough to sustain the weight of the fruit now about to bloom. This exchange isn't just material, it's spiritual. You're trading restlessness for rhythm, fear for focus, sorrow for sacred strength. The tears that once watered the ground are now producing a harvest of joy. God is rewriting the story, not by erasing your past, but by using it as the ink for your redemption. The very chapters that embarrassed you will become testimonies that empower others. The storm you survived becomes the river that refreshes someone else's desert. And when this transformation becomes visible, remember this abundance is not only for you to keep, but for you to pour. The blessings coming your way are not meant to stop with you, they are meant to flow through you. You are a channel, not a container. When you pour, heaven refills. When you give, heaven multiplies. That's why I want to speak gently. From heart to heart, if this message has found its way into your spirit, if it has awakened something inside you, consider becoming part of the river that keeps it flowing. Like the oil in the widow's jar, what you pour out never truly leaves you. When you like this message, it's as if you're lighting another candle on the altar of faith, helping others find their way through the dark. When you share it, you're extending that flame, passing the torch to someone standing on the edge of surrender. When you subscribe, you're saying, I want to walk this journey with Heaven's family, step by step. And if you ever feel led to give, whether great or small, it becomes like adding water to the well, ensuring that the flow of hope never runs dry for the next soul who needs to drink. Every act of generosity, every click, every quiet offering becomes part of this sacred exchange. It's not about building a platform, it's about sustaining a movement of light. Together, we become a lighthouse for others who are still lost in the fog of pain. Chosen one. Heaven smiles when the blessed become a blessing. You are no longer the one who waits for rescue. You are now the one heaven uses to rescue others. The divine exchange is not just about what you receive, it's about what you release. So lift your eyes. The horizon is brighter than you remember. The story is far from over. God is restoring, multiplying, overflowing. The locust years are ending, and abundance begins to pour. Let gratitude become your response, and generosity your rhythm. This is the beauty of divine exchange, when what you give from your heart becomes the seed of someone else's miracle. Chosen one. Every divine chapter eventually brings you to the same threshold, the test of obedience. It is never about whether God can bless you, but whether you can still trust Him when the instructions make no sense. This is where destiny separates from comfort, where faith becomes action. The test of obedience is not measured in grand gestures. It is measured in the quiet yes when everything inside you wants to resist. There are moments when God's commands will challenge logic. He will ask you to release what you love, to move when you feel unready, to speak when silence feels safer. These moments are not punishments. They are invitations. Obedience is heaven's love language. It is how chosen ones prove that they trust the author even when they cannot read the next line. You may remember the seasons when you obeyed in tears, when surrender felt like loss, when walking away from something familiar felt like failure. But heaven never forgets such moments. Every act of obedience, even the trembling ones, becomes a seed of favor planted in eternal soil. In time, those seeds bloom into doors you could never have opened on your own. The Word of God declares in the book of Genesis, chapter 22, verse 18, "And through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed because you have obeyed me." That verse is more than a story of Abraham. It is a prophecy over you. The obedience of one chosen soul can shift entire generations. Your willingness to say yes is rewriting the future of those who will come after you. Obedience is not just personal, it's prophetic. When you follow God's voice, even in uncertainty, you alter the landscape of destiny for countless others. But obedience always costs something. It asks for surrender, for patience, for humility. It requires trusting that God's plan is better than your understanding. It might lead you down paths that appear barren, only for you to discover hidden wells waiting beneath the dust. Sometimes obedience feels like losing control, but it is in that loss that true freedom begins. There were times you wondered if obedience was worth it. You saw others take shortcuts, compromise, chase comfort, and it seemed they prospered faster. Yet heaven was building something in you that shortcuts could never create: endurance, depth, and unshakable faith. Quick gains fade, but what is built on obedience stands forever. The foundation of your next chapter is being laid in your willingness to keep saying yes. You might not realize it, but your obedience has already changed atmospheres. The decision you made to forgive, to remain pure, to keep believing, to stay when you could have fled, all of it echoed in the spirit realm. Heaven responds to obedience like fire responds to oxygen, instantly and powerfully. The more you yield, the brighter your flame becomes. Chosen one, obedience will never lead you to regret. It might lead you through fire, but the fire refines, not destroys. It might lead you into wilderness, but the wilderness trains, not abandons. Every command from heaven carries the seed of blessing inside it. You may not see the harvest yet, but it's already growing underground. The soil of obedience is never barren. If you could see how close you are to the fulfillment of what was promised, you would not hesitate for a single moment. The test of obedience is the last gate before manifestation. Once you pass it, everything that has been waiting begins to unfold. Heaven tests you not to expose your weakness, but to reveal your readiness. So tonight, let peace settle in your heart. You do not have to understand to obey. You only need to trust. The one who gives the command also gives the grace to fulfill it. You are not walking blind, you are walking by faith, and faith always leads to fullness. Your obedience has been noted in heaven's record. Angels have marked this moment. The story of your life is now turning toward fulfillment. Keep walking, chosen one. Every step of obedience is a step deeper into destiny. The gate is opening because you said yes. Chosen one, can you feel it? The air around your spirit has changed. The quiet whispers, the unexplainable signs, the dreams that repeat, the inner knowing that something holy is approaching, these are not coincidences. This is prophetic confirmation. Heaven is speaking in symbols and echoes, assuring you that you are standing in the right place, at the right time, for the right reason. The divine pattern is unfolding, and your spirit knows it even before your mind can comprehend it. Every confirmation, every small sign you've dismissed as maybe or imagination has been heaven's way of saying, I'm still here, and I'm still writing. You have not missed your moment. Your moment has been waiting for you to believe. There are seasons when God speaks loudly, through miracles and open doors. But there are also seasons like this one when his voice becomes a whisper carried on the wind. He speaks through timing, through alignment, through the faces of strangers and the rhythm of your days. You start to notice patterns that feel too precise to be random. These are divine breadcrumbs, guiding your soul toward the fulfillment of every word ever spoken over your life. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. That verse isn't just a comfort, it's a confirmation. God is weaving everything together with such perfection that even the parts that once hurt you are now being used to help you. Every rejection redirected you to where favor truly belonged. Every closed door was a shield disguised as disappointment. The signs have been there all along, subtle, patient, divine. Heaven confirms through repetition. Have you noticed the same numbers, the same phrases, the same moments replaying in your life? They are not coincidences, they are conversations. Heaven often repeats until you recognize that what's happening around you is not random, it's revelation. Prophetic confirmation is heaven's way of saying, you're still on course. Even when doubt creeps in, when prayers feel unanswered, when silence stretches long, God keeps sending gentle reminders that the story is still unfolding. You may not have seen the final picture, but every small sign is another brushstroke on the canvas of your destiny. Chosen one, do not rush the process. When God confirms, he also prepares. Every sign is not only proof of his presence, but also an instruction to stay aligned. Your spirit must remain sensitive, your heart soft, your ears open. The confirmation is not just to comfort you, it's to condition you to keep you walking in step with heaven's rhythm. Sometimes confirmation comes disguised as conflict. The very opposition you face can serve as proof that you're walking in divine direction. Hell does not resist what heaven has not ordained. When the attack increases, it's often because the breakthrough is near. Even the resistance becomes a signal. The storm confirms that the ship is moving. Prophetic confirmation will not always look supernatural. Sometimes it's a text at the right moment, a message that speaks directly to your situation, a word that feels like it was written just for you. That's how heaven personalizes its whispers, not through spectacle, but through intimacy. Pause now. Chosen one. Reflect on the last few days, weeks, or even months. Can you see how everything connects? The people who entered your life, the doors that opened, the unexpected redirections, none of them were accidents. The Holy Spirit has been threading signs into your path, guiding you without needing to shout. And tonight, this very message is another confirmation. Heaven planned this encounter. You were meant to hear this at this exact time. Every word you've read is another divine nod, heaven saying, you're not lost. You're led. If your heart feels that unmistakable resonance, that deep, quiet yes within, then mark this moment with faith. Type the number 44444 in the comments. It is a prophetic number of confirmation, foundation, and divine order. When you type it, you are agreeing with heaven's alignment. You're declaring, I see the signs, and I trust the path. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are walking in rhythm with eternity. Every step, every sigh, every small victory has been orchestrated by hands that never make mistakes. The signs were never random, they were always revelation. Tonight, prophetic confirmation has found you again, and heaven smiles, knowing you finally see it too. Chosen one. The atmosphere around you has shifted subtly at first, but unmistakably. What once felt heavy now feels charged with divine authority. You have endured, obeyed, and waited, and now heaven descends with a mantle. The mantle is not a symbol of prestige, it is a weight of purpose. It is heaven's way of saying, you are ready to carry what others could not. You may not feel worthy. Most chosen ones don't. The mantle rarely comes when you feel prepared. It comes when heaven decides you have been proven. It is not given to the strongest, but to the surrendered. It rests on those who have allowed the fire of testing to purify their hearts. And you, chosen one, have passed through the fire without losing your worship. That is why the mantle now descends. We find in the second book of Kings, chapter 2, verse 15. When the sons of the prophets who were watching from Jericho saw what happened, they exclaimed, "The spirit of Elijah rests on Elisha." That same principle now unfolds over you. The spirit that rested upon those before you, the spirit of courage, discernment, healing, and truth is being transferred. You are not starting from nothing. You are continuing a lineage. Heaven does not recycle mantles. It renews them. Each one carries the fragrance of past obedience and the promise of future glory. This mantle is not an ornament. It is armor. It will demand more of you than comfort can offer. When it settles upon your shoulders, it brings both responsibility and revelation. You will feel the weight of souls attached to your obedience, the pull of heaven calling you higher. The mantle will draw you into deeper prayer, sharper discernment, and greater compassion. You will begin to see people not through offense, but through assignment. The authority you now carry is not for dominance, but deliverance. Heaven does not crown with power for the sake of control. It anoints for service. You will find that your words begin to carry unusual weight, not because you've become eloquent, but because truth now flows through you unhindered. When you speak, atmospheres will shift. When you pray, chains will loosen. When you worship, the unseen will respond. Chosen one, mantles are costly. They come after crushing. Elisha followed Elijah through dryness, disappointment, and fire before he ever received it. Likewise, you have followed through loss, through obscurity, through seasons that demanded trust when sight was gone. And now, heaven honors that endurance. You are not receiving a reward, you are receiving a responsibility. The weight you feel tonight is not pressure, it's presence. God is entrusting you with a measure of His heart for the world. The mantle carries empathy for the hurting, conviction for the wandering, and fire for the complacent. It will cause you to weep for things that once didn't move you, to speak when silence feels safer, to stand when compromise feels easier. There will be moments when you want to lay it down. Every mantle bearer reaches that point. The temptation to return to the ordinary will whisper, but you will not go back. Once heaven marks a soul, ordinary living no longer satisfies. You will find peace not in comfort, but in obedience. You will discover joy not in recognition, but in revelation. Chosen one. This mantle signifies the turning of seasons. Where you once walked as a seeker, you now walk as a carrier. The same anointing that broke you open will now flow through you to break others free. Your hands will carry healing, your words direction, your presence restoration. You have become an answer to prayers you never heard. When heaven gives a mantle, it also gives grace. The same fire that anointed you will sustain you. You will not be crushed by the weight. You will be carried by the one who placed it upon you. Remember this truth: the mantle does not make you powerful. It makes you surrendered. And in that surrender, heaven releases its greatest strength. Walk carefully now, for your steps carry purpose. The mantle is not light, but it is holy. The heavens watch, the earth listens, and the spirit within you burns brighter than ever before. You are not just chosen, you are entrusted. Chosen one. When heaven writes your story, there comes a chapter where conflict intensifies the battle for the pen itself. It is the moment when darkness realizes it can no longer destroy you from the outside, so it begins to whisper to you from within. The enemy knows he cannot stop what God has written. He can only attempt to convince you to stop believing it. The greatest war you will ever fight is not around you, but inside you. This is the battle for the narrative for whose voice you will trust when the noise grows louder. Heaven has written promises. Hell tries to edit them. Heaven declares destiny. Fear tries to erase it. Every chosen one faces this crossroad. Will you allow temporary doubt to rewrite eternal truth? The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That verse unmasks the reality you are feeling. The confusion, the heaviness, the sudden discouragement, they are not random moods. They are warfare. The battle for your pen is real, because once you stop writing faith into your days, the enemy begins to scribble fear across them. Yet you must remember the ink in your hand is divine. Every declaration you make in faith rewrites the outcome that darkness tried to alter. There are moments when the conflict feels invisible but exhausting. You wake up tired, not from physical labor but from the weight of spiritual resistance. You question your worth, your direction, your progress. These are the tactics of distraction to make you look down at your wounds instead of up at your writer. But hear this truth. Chosen one. The story is still in his hands, and his grip does not tremble. This battle teaches you discernment. You begin to recognize which voices bring life and which bring confusion. You learn that not every thought deserves agreement. Not every feeling deserves attention. The enemy writes in panic. God writes in peace. Whenever your thoughts sound frantic, fearful, or self-condemning, they are not heaven's handwriting. The divine script always carries stillness, even in storms. You must guard your pen, your heart, your words, your focus. Do not let bitterness write your sentences. Do not let comparison choose your vocabulary. Do not let despair sign your name at the end of unfinished prayers. Your pen belongs to God, and every day you rise, you give Him permission to keep writing. Chosen one, when you feel the weight of this battle, remember what it means. You are dangerous to darkness. The enemy would not fight for your attention if your story held no power. The intensity of warfare is proof of the importance of your calling. The greater the resistance, the more significant the revelation ahead. You are not losing. You are being refined for accuracy. Think of a quill dipped in ink. Before it writes, it must be pressed. Before words appear, the pen must break the surface. That is you in this season, pressed but purposeful. The pressure you feel is not punishment. It is preparation for clarity. Every strike of resistance only makes heaven's inscription deeper. And when the storm grows louder, remember this: the author has never lost a manuscript. Even when the pages are torn, even when chapters feel missing, He rewrites with mercy. The ink of grace cannot be blotted out by failure. The moment you surrender the pen back to Him, He continues the story as if you never dropped it. This battle will not last forever. There will come a sunrise where you'll look back and realize the enemy never truly had the pen, only your attention. Once you learned to focus again, the noise faded and the words flowed. That's the secret of chosen ones. They may stumble, but they never stop being written. So breathe. You are still in the story, still in His hand, still being refined in the fire of purpose. The battle for the pen has only one outcome: victory for the one who refuses to quit. Let heaven write freely again through your surrender. The war for your story ends the moment you trust the author more than the attack. Chosen one, you've walked through fire, storms, and silence, and now you stand in the light of victory. The crown and the call meet here, in this sacred intersection of fulfillment and responsibility. Heaven has not only brought you through, it has raised you up. What once was broken now shines with glory. The wounds that marked you have become the very places where the light of God reflects most clearly. You were never meant to stay hidden forever. This is your coronation moment. The crown God places upon your life is not made of gold or jewels, but of endurance, faith, and surrender. It is formed from the moments you kept believing when everything told you to quit. It gleams with the brilliance of your obedience and the quiet strength that only divine love could produce. Every chosen one reaches this place, the moment when the journey's weight transforms into authority. You are no longer only the one who survived. You are the one who now leads others to freedom. We are reminded through the writings of James, chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love Him. This promise is not a distant hope. It is your present reality. The crown of life rests upon you now, not because of perfection, but because of persistence. Heaven honors those who remain steadfast when the world falters. You've been through battles that others couldn't see, yet you remained anchored in faith. That perseverance has shaped your authority. You wear victory not as pride, but as proof that God never fails. The call that comes with the crown is not one of comfort, but of continuation. The Lord does not elevate you to rest. He elevates you to reach. Your testimony is no longer private. It is a trumpet call to others still walking through their valleys. You are now the voice that says, if He did it for me, He can do it for you. You are both proof and promise, evidence that the God who crowns also calls as you walk into this new level of purpose. Remember, humility is the true jewel of your crown. The higher you rise, the deeper your roots must grow. Stay close to the heart of the one who placed the crown upon your head. The same hands that lifted you can sustain you. Let every victory point back to him. If this message has stirred something deep within you, that quiet recognition that says, "This is for me," then pause for a moment. Let gratitude fill your heart. Let your soul whisper a simple thank you to heaven. And as you do, let's take a small but meaningful step together. Tap like on this message if it has spoken to you, not as an act of routine, but as a testimony. Each like becomes a digital declaration that heaven still crowns the faithful. When you share it, imagine you are extending your hand to someone who still feels unworthy of their own crown. You never know who might need this reminder that endurance still matters, that faith still wins, that grace still chooses the broken and the brave. And if this space has become your well, the place where your spirit finds renewal, then subscribe so you can stay connected to the stream. Each message is a drop from heaven's river, and together, they form a flood of restoration. Lastly, let your voice join this moment. Leave a comment below, something from your heart. It could be one sentence, one prayer, one word of gratitude. Your comment becomes another stone in the altar we are building here together, a visible reminder that chosen ones walk side by side, crown by crown. Chosen one, this chapter of victory is not an ending. It is the beginning of a greater call, a call to walk with courage, to lead with love, and to wear your crown with humility. You have been tested, trusted, and now enthroned. The heavens applaud, not because you are perfect, but because you remained. You wear the crown well. Now live the call loudly. Chosen one, dawn is breaking. The sky of your life glows faintly at first, then begins to blaze with colors you've never seen before. The long night that once seemed endless is finally over. Heaven's light spills gently over the horizon of your spirit, revealing what darkness tried to hide, the proof that God's promises were true all along. What was whispered in the shadows is now being shouted in the sunlight. The morning after glory carries a different kind of beauty. It's quieter, more sacred. There's no need to shout or prove anything. The evidence speaks for itself. You stand where storms once howled and realize that peace has settled into your bones. You don't have to chase affirmation anymore. You don't have to fight to be seen. You are living proof that faith was worth it. The ancient words recorded in Lamentations chapter 3, verse 23. Declare great is his faithfulness. His mercies begin afresh each morning. Those mercies are washing over you now. They come not like a flood that overwhelms, but like soft rain after drought, steady, restoring, holy. Every worry that once haunted you seems smaller in this light. Every scar glows softer, like a healed wound that testifies without pain. You are standing in the quiet triumph of survival, the kind that doesn't need applause because it carries heaven's approval. Morning after glory is different from the victory you imagined. It's not loud or glittering. It's peace that finally makes sense. Breath that no longer feels heavy, and joy that doesn't have to shout to be real. It's waking up and realizing that the battle has shaped you, not broken you. That the fire refined you, but did not define you. That the silence of God was never abandonment. It was the stillness of a master artist finishing his masterpiece. You can look back now without trembling. You can see the nights of crying not as wasted, but as sacred. Every unanswered prayer has found its place in the grand mosaic. Every detour was a divine redirection. The things you once cursed as delays were actually shields in disguise. The people who left were making space for those who were meant to stay. You understand now, heaven was not taking from you. It was pruning you for fruitfulness. Chosen one, This dawn does not erase the night, it redeems it. Without darkness, you would not know how precious light can be. Without loss, you wouldn't appreciate restoration. Without waiting, you wouldn't understand the sweetness of arrival. Every contrast was necessary for this moment of completion. You are standing in a season called after pain, after confusion, after breaking the after that only grace can write. And yet, even now, the story is not done. The morning is not the conclusion, it's the continuation. Glory always leads to responsibility. Peace always prepares you for purpose. What God has given you in this light is meant to be carried into the world, into the dark corners that still wait for dawn. The light that fills you now was never meant to stay contained. It was meant to spill over, quietly and consistently, until others begin to see again. You may not notice it immediately, but everything about you has changed. The way you speak, the way you move, the way you see others, it all carries the fragrance of someone who has walked through the valley and come out radiant. You no longer react to life. You respond with wisdom. You no longer fear uncertainty. You walk in trust. You no longer strive for approval. You rest in identity. Chosen one. You are living in the fulfillment of promises spoken long ago. The dawn you prayed for has come not as a sudden flash, but as a steady sunrise that keeps spreading. This is the morning after glory. It doesn't announce itself with thunder. It simply shines until everything dark learns to glow again. And as heaven watches, it smiles because you made it. You kept faith when everything said quit. You endured. You trusted. You believed. And now, the light that once seemed far away has become your reality. The morning has come, and with it, the proof that the night was never wasted. Chosen one, heaven watches in silence as the ink dries upon this final page, not as an ending, but as the echo of everything that has been written through you. Every tear, every prayer, every act of faith has become a permanent line in the manuscript of eternity. You have lived through chapters that seemed to break you, yet each one was necessary to complete the story. Tonight, the author sets down his pen not because the story is over, but because the message is clear. You made it through. The words of the psalmist rise like incense in this moment. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 126 on verse 5, "Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy." That is the anthem of your life. You sowed faithfully through the midnight seasons when no one applauded, when no one noticed, when even hope seemed faint. And now, heaven decrees that your harvest time has arrived. Joy, not as fleeting happiness, but as deep, steady assurance, begins to rise within you. The soil of sorrow has birthed fruit that will feed generations. What was planted in pain will now bloom in purpose. This final chapter is not about arrival, but about awakening. The greatest chapter of your life is not written by what happens to you, but by what happens through you. The victories you've gained are seeds for others. The wisdom you carry is oil for the next generation. You are not just living history, you are shaping legacy. Every step you take from this moment will echo beyond your lifetime, carrying the fragrance of divine fulfillment. Eternal echoes, that's what heaven calls it. Your obedience tonight will ripple across years, touching hearts you may never meet. The words you spoke in faith, the prayers whispered in secret, the compassion you offered when no one saw, all of it moves outward like waves in a vast, holy ocean. Heaven does not measure greatness by numbers or noise, but by impact that endures. You are proof that God writes stories that outlast time. When the world reads your life, they will not see perfection. They will see perseverance. They will read between the lines and discover mercy, courage, redemption, and grace. The ink of your testimony will inspire others to keep going when their pages seem blank. That is how chosen ones change the world, not through noise, but through endurance that refuses to fade. And now, as heaven turns the final page, the voice of the Spirit whispers softly, "Rest. The season of striving is over. The purpose that once felt distant is now fulfilled. You no longer have to chase what was already written for you. The crown rests securely, the fire burns steadily, the light within you shines without strain. You have become harmony, the perfect blend of peace and power, humility and holiness. Chosen one, eternity will remember you not just for what you did, but for what you became, a vessel of divine love in human form. Your life sings even in silence. You are the melody of obedience, the rhythm of restoration, the song of faith that does not end when the music fades. Heaven's orchestra continues to play your theme in unseen realms, celebrating the masterpiece of endurance that you are. And though this story closes, its echoes will never stop. Somewhere, a weary soul will hear your words and find courage again. Somewhere, a broken heart will glimpse your faith and believe once more. Somewhere, someone lost in darkness will see your light and remember that dawn is real. That is the legacy of the chosen. Their stories do not end. They multiply. They become living parables of grace, testaments of divine faithfulness written across the generations. You have become that parable. Your life is heaven's message to the world that no pain is wasted, no delay is final, and no soul is too far gone for redemption. So let this final silence speak. The page rests, the ink gleams, and heaven breathes. The story is complete, not closed, but fulfilled. The author smiles, knowing that through you, his glory will echo forever. Beloved chosen one, before this story closes, take one last sacred breath. Let gratitude fill the space where fear once lived. You have journeyed through every chapter, through fire and silence, through waiting and awakening, and you stand now in the fullness of divine promise. This moment is not just an ending. It's a beginning written in heaven's ink. If these words have touched something deep within you, let that feeling linger. Don't rush away. Every heartbeat right now is a thank you whispered back to heaven for the grace that carried you this far. And if you found strength here, even a flicker of hope, even a tear that finally made sense, let that be your sign to keep the flame alive. Tap like not as a habit, but as a declaration. I receive what heaven has written over me. When you share this message, imagine you are lighting another candle in a world that's forgotten how to hope. Someone out there needs your courage, your echo, your story. Leave a comment, just a few honest words from your heart. It might be a prayer, a whisper of gratitude, or a line that says, "I'm still here, still believing." Your words become part of this altar of testimonies where others will come and find their own spark of faith. And if these messages have become a place where your spirit breathes again, subscribe. Stay connected to this flow of light and truth. Each message to come will be another ripple in your divine journey, another reminder that heaven still speaks your name. Thank you for walking this sacred path. Heaven smiles upon you, chosen one. The story continues, and you are still being written in glory.